What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise post-game show here on a Wednesday night. The Blazers get another win, their 19th win on the year, behind dominating performances by dominating. I will call him that now. That's how well he's playing, Eric. I will call him dominating right now. Dominating as well as Anfernee Simons. 36 and 33. They combined for 69 points. Phenomenal performances as the Blazers. I mean, outside of those guys, very quiet offensively. Did not matter because of some good old-fashioned domination. I dropped a video on dominating earlier today, by the way, in case any of you want to check it out in your free time. Eric, how's it going?
Well, now Taylor has to go change his pants. Thanks a lot, Tori.
Well, I mean, that's assuming he wears pants.
That's true, I guess.
He was always excited when we would get the spam bots, the sex bots in our chat. So I don't know. You know, hopefully he's wearing something. But yeah, how's it going?
Well, not too bad. So you end up going to the game?
Yeah, so I went to the game, and then I come home, and then it took me like 30 minutes to make the graphics because I had to clear like 15 gigabytes of space on my laptop to make the graphics. So that was miserable. If any of you ever use Photoshop, you might know the scratch discs full struggle. Shout if you can relate to that. But yeah, man, I mean, it was a pretty loud environment for the last 3 minutes of the game, I'll say that. Or actually, starting with Chris Murray's and one, which I think was a little bit before then. All of a sudden, the arena was alive, you know, but it took them until a close game in the fourth quarter because we're obviously in tank mode. And it was funny because I was sitting up there in 300 level, and there was a couple people, like, shouting, "Start tanking! Start tanking! Ant missed the free throw! We need a tank!"
Well, Ayton misses a free throw and then Tumani gets the board. Otherwise, the Hawks would have had a chance to win.
Man, I mean, I love the Tumani hustle. I also would have loved for them to get the rebound to see what would have happened because, you know, this win is cool. It's cool to see Ayton play so well. It's cool to see Ant, after struggling, he actually got 3 open catch-and-shoot looks to start this game and missed them all. And he rarely gets open catch-and-shoot looks. So I don't know if he's just not used to getting catch-and-shoot looks anymore or what, but 3 open catch-and-shoot looks to start the game and misses them all. And it was like, oh man, this might be a brutal game for him. He ends up recovering, putting up 36, 8, and 7. So fills up the stat sheet. It's nice to see those guys play well, and it's cool to see these guys get a win. At the same time, this Atlanta team is kind of a joke. They're a joke with Trae Young. They're especially a joke without Trae Young and without Jalen Johnson. Basically, it's just DeJounte Murray trying to carry a bunch of fringe NBA players. And their second best player was DeAndre Hunter, and he didn't have a good game. He was 4 for 12, 1 for 6, had 1 assist, 1 rebound in 33 minutes, doing his best Jeremy Grant impersonation. Yeah, this game was just kind of comical at the start, too. Blazers only have 17 points in the first quarter. Like, Scoot struggles. He's on a minutes restriction, apparently, on the first night of a back-to-back. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But just a weird game that was basically ended up being a 2-versus-1. It wasn't 5v5. It was 2-versus-1. And it was Ayton and Simons versus DeJounte Murray. That's what this game was. So, it's cool to see those guys play well, despite, you know, the implications in the lottery standings for not only Portland, but also Portland's pick from Golden State, because Atlanta is still within striking distance of them, at least if they won this game.
Yeah, and I mean, people are freaking out that we are costing ourselves a chance at SAR. We're costing ourselves 2% chance at SAR. It's still, like, I'm not
2%?
saying...
It's 2% chance at number 1, but he might not go number 1. So I think it might be a little...
I'm just assuming it's number 1. Okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, we can still move up. It's not like it's impossible. And we moved up to 3rd from 5th last year. Doesn't necessarily matter what happened in the past, but yes, it sucks. If Atlanta would have pulled this game out at the end, it would have been perfect, I think. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it like last year. Last year, I feel like every percentage point mattered in terms of getting him, and ultimately it did. We were off by 1 digit or whatever. But I'm not gonna like get too upset about it. Although I was hoping that the Hawks came back and won this game.
I have no problem if people are upset at every little shred of opportunity to get a guy like Alex Sarr. Maybe they really want Zachary Risachet or whoever at the top of this draft, right? Like, I understand people being upset in terms of they want the Blazers to maximize their odds of getting a true game changer so they can be better in the future. I understand that. I've been right there with you.
Yeah.
I also understand why people would be like, I mean, look at this draft. There's no clear-cut guy, and even if we don't move up, like 2 to 7 are very even in terms of prospects. Like, does it really matter if you're picking 3rd and Sarr's not on the board, or if you're picking 6th? There's not much of a difference. I kind of agree with that as well. And I understand people rooting for wins. Like, as Blazer fans, I understand fans rooting for the Blazers to win games. Fully understand the entire spectrum of it.
Yeah.
Like, I am not here to put down anyone in terms of them rooting for what they think is best for the franchise. Because some people think, like, oh, yeah, winning games like this, Deandre Ayton playing well, like, this is going to be great for the Blazers. Like, they're going to be able to build going into next year. And some people are like, we need every percentage chance to get Alex Sarr, who I think is going to be a true legitimate game changer, right? End of the day, if you're a Blazer fan, as long as you want the Blazers to, like, win a championship someday, I respect your opinion on how you think they should get there, whether that's, you know, try and win as many games right now and establish a winning culture, or get every ping pong ball possible for a true game changer in the draft. And, you know, my thoughts are probably lean more towards the latter in terms of, like, I want every shred of chance to get a guy like Alex Sarr, but I do see the benefit of establishing DeAndre Ayton, getting him playing like this. Part of the thing with Ayton is I'm not sure if he's going to keep this up, because he's had stretches like this with Phoenix before and he's never really maintained it. So we'll just have to wait and see. You know, credit for him for how well he's playing. Maybe the best stretch of his career, to be quite honest with you. He's dominating right now. But yeah, I have no problem with how you feel if you want ping pong balls or wins right now. Because at the end of the day, I mean, we all want the same thing, and that's for this team to be legitimately good, where we can all root for wins as we win 50 games by March instead of 19.
Yeah, completely agree with everything you said. I think it's very important to reiterate that is there's no right or wrong way to fan. It's just it's not like there's a chance we talk about this when we do Tankathon, right? Like last year we move up at the end from 6th to 5th, and we thought winning that back-to-back against, I think it was Detroit and Orlando or something late in the season, we thought that was going to cost us the 5th best odds, and we're all upset, and then we ended up getting the 5th anyway. But if 6 moves up to 1, and like, you know, we're all going to be mad that we didn't win a couple more games, you know? So it's still yet to play out. But I do agree also that I think Alex Sarr could absolutely change this. And John Nash says in chat, or asks, with the way Ayton's been playing, does that change your opinion on needing Sarr or whatever? I think the answer for me, at least, is no, because I think Sarr is quick enough defensively and good enough to play some 4 with Ayton. And I think you could then have one of those guys in the game at all times. And I think that would be a legit way to get to contention, is having 2 really good centers like that both fit well with the other pieces we have.
Yeah, especially given that you have an undersized backcourt, you're building around guards with defensive questions. If that's the route you're going to build, you want somebody that can play a 4 that is an elite defender, right? Because the closest comparison to maybe the idealistic version of the Blazers right now could be the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? Obviously, we want to be better than the Cleveland Cavaliers. We want to be the best team in the league. But what are the Cleveland Cavaliers? They're a team that's built around an undersized backcourt duo that struggles defensively in Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. Mitchell's a better defender than Garland, but Mitchell isn't above average defensively. Some of that is because he has to carry offensive load, but point is, undersized backcourt, that isn't super great defensively. And then they play Max Strus at the small forward spot, and he's very undersized for that position and not the greatest defender in my opinion. He's solid, but nothing to write home about. But they still are one of the best defenses in the league because they got Evan Mobley and they got Jared Allen. And then off the bench, they got Dean Wade, who's one of the most underrated defensive bigs in the entire league, right? So how do you replicate that? You pair Alex R with Deandre Ayton. It allows you to use one of them to trap while one hangs back and protects the rim. Especially if you have Deandre Ayton playing the 5, Sarr playing the 4, and there's a lot of point guard center pick and rolls that the other team likes to run, you can start trapping more of those with Ayton, trying to force turnovers, get out and run, right? That's the identity, or it should be the identity of the Blazers. But if the ball gets out of the trap, you have somebody that's super rangy, moves quick, super long arms, really good rim protector, and Sarr behind the play. It mitigates the risk of that. So fully still on board with Sarr. I would love to see Sarr played with Ayton. We should not be scared to go big. We've done the thing where we're small for so long. We shouldn't be scared to go big. And that's why I really want Alex Sarr. But at the end of the day, whoever the Blazers get, as long as Ayton continues playing like this, I mean, that's the biggest thing right now that we can talk about from this recent stretch of games is this is what we needed to see from Ayton. This is how he's needed to play. I dropped a video earlier today, and it was funny because somebody pointed out, man, your video did the opposite of jinx him. He had a great game today. 33 and 19 for Ayton, 15 for 20. I mean, he dominated Clint Capella, Eric. And Clint Capella kind of washed, like, up there in age. Injuries have added up, right? But Ayton continues to play great, and he had a super efficient night. Started 14 for 17, finished 15 for 20. I mean, did you watch my video?
I haven't watched it.
If you haven't had time, that's okay. I was just wondering, like, what you thought of some of the points I made in that. But basically, I just think Ayton's had a better mindset. He's still shooting mid-range, but he's not just settling for mid-range. I think he's being more aggressive. The rebounding as well. Yeah, 2 dunks. He's just being more physical. And you see it not only on some of the offensive plays, but also his rebounding. Because he was not rebounding like this at the start of the year. He's dominating the boards. Now
we had a couple random games like the Raptor one early in the season where he had, I think, 23 rebounds, but I
mean, Clint Capella did have 7 offensive rebounds. There were moments when maybe he could have given a little better effort, but I mean, we had numerous instances of that earlier in the season, and you look at the box score, Ayton has 8 rebounds in 37 minutes. I mean, he's averaging like 14, 15 rebounds a game if you don't count his Minnesota game where he fouled out and played less than 20 minutes, right? If you take that out, he's averaging like 15 rebounds a game in his last 8 or 9 games or so after this one. So rebounding too, he's mixing it up a little bit more, being a little bit more physical, which I think is just the key for him. Don't shy away from contact. If you're going to call yourself dominating, you can't be afraid of contact. And I think some of it is the Blazers making an effort to establish him, but a big part of it is just his mindset seems so much better. And it's mindset. When guys' mindsets aren't right, that drives me crazy as much as anything. So to see Ayton just play like how he's capable of is definitely fun. It's crazy because I went from the Ayton hater to just being excited to watch him play, man. Like I was truly enjoying watching him play basketball today.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't know, he's really stepping up. But there was the offensive foul he had, the charge. I know it was a turnover, but I loved it.
Yeah,
He rolled hard. Almost got an and one. He tried to take it strong. That's a bang bang play. Like maybe sometimes you're going to get that call. But like just the fact that he dribbled in and didn't settle for the jumper, and then the next play he had a similar type situation and he still took it into the defender, but didn't go all the way into him and kind of shot over the top of him as he was going towards the hoop. And it was nice to see him not just settle for the mid-range after that. But I mean, he's been lights out from the mid-range too for a long time now. And I don't know if that's like sustainable as high of a rate as he's hitting shots. But I mean, he's pretty much automatic from mid-range right now if he's open. So I mean, why not keep going to it?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
They had I know you were at the game, so you didn't see this story, but the Haberstat today was that he made it sound like this was a good thing. I actually think this is a bad thing, but Ayton over the last 2 years has the highest percentage of points being 2-point field goals of anyone in the league the last 2 years. At I think it was 92.9% of his points were 2-point field goals.
Yeah. I mean, part of that is he doesn't seek out contact, so he doesn't get to the free throw line. So he shoots more, more twos.
And no threes.
Some of that is that he shoots no threes, you know what I mean? But yeah, like stats like that are always interesting. Feels slightly cherry picked, but whatever. Impressive
Yeah, well,
nonetheless.
what I'm saying is though, like, I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. Like, you want a little more diversity, I think, in your shot. Like, you don't want it to all be
Yeah,
2-point
like
field goals.
if he got to the free throw line more, he'd be a more efficient player, but that would
Right.
make that stat go down. You know what I mean? That's the thing.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
context
That's what I'm
into
saying.
that stat. Yeah. Whereas it's like it's not just. I know some people don't want him shooting threes; they want him playing in the paint. Okay, well, still the one thing, even though he's playing better lately, he's still not really getting to the free throw line. He shot 4 free throws today. 2 of them were because he was intentionally fouled. He's still, like, I think before this had 6 free throws in 8 games, still shooting less than 1 a game. Like, it's, I would like to see him get to the line a lot more than he does, which would obviously negatively affect that stat, but it would be a good thing because he can shoot, 75-80% from the line. So you're getting
like 83% this year.
83. I mean, that's 1.66. Just to get nerdy with the math here, that's 1.66 points per possession when he gets to the free throw line and shoots 2 free throws. Right? That's the equivalent of shooting 83% from 2. Right? Because 2 free throws at 83% is the equivalent of shooting 83% from 2. You know what I mean? Like, so getting to the free throw line would be a super efficient play for him. And also, you potentially get guys in foul trouble. Would be a really good play. So that is still something where I wish he would a little bit, but he is who he is. As long as he's efficient on the shots he shoots, I'm okay with him not shooting free throws. Like, he's been shooting 65% from the field in his last 10 to 15 games, if I recall correctly, something like that. That's efficient offense. That's better than 55% from 2. 65% from 2, I'll take that. That's 1.3 points per possession. Like, basically, there's a point in terms of efficiency where a player starts to become more efficient than just your average offense, and then that's a good scoring option. If a player is more inefficient than if you just ran basic offense with average players, then he's not really helping you by scoring a lot. And that was kind of Ayton earlier in the year when he was inefficient. So he's become an efficient player, and it's made his scoring much more productive, in my opinion.
Yeah, his other 2 free throws were on a jumper that he got fouled on the arm.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he got him by taking it to the rim. But the issue is you have to shoot an insane percentage from the mid range like he's doing right now to be efficient. And so I'm not saying I'm not discrediting him or saying that there's anything wrong with the way he's playing. It's just as long as he's hitting a high percentage of them, it's fine. But the games he struggles to hit those or, makes 4 out of 10 or something, it's going to look bad if he's not getting to the line still. And I think you made an interesting point that gets overlooked a lot, and that's when you never get the other team in foul trouble at all. The Blazers are not good at drawing fouls. Whether it's Simons or Scoot or whoever. I mean, Scoot had a good run of it for a while, but it just seems like he hasn't been able to get to the line much since he came back. I think at some point, Jeremy Grant's, I guess, done a good job, but I think we both are hoping he's not on the team next year. So we wouldn't have that. Someone needs to be, as Matt Cardell says, he gets tired of watching people hunt for free throws, but someone's got to be a free throw merchant.
Yeah.
Most good teams have guys who can get to the free throw line.
And it's not just about hunting free throws. It's about the more consistently you take the ball to the rim strong, naturally, the more you should end up at the free throw line.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just playing with force. As well as Ayton could use pump fakes and feast off them. I feel like he rarely pump fakes.
Yeah.
Like, especially that mid-range shot. Like, pump fake that. Yeah, pump fake that occasionally and see if you can get the center to jump into you and draw fouls. Like, that's not necessarily hunting free throws. That's punishing bad defense if your defender is jumping in a pump fake and you draw the foul on him. You know, that's different than swinging your arms unnaturally through the defender and, like, flailing and kicking your leg out like you're Draymond Green trying to ruin Steven Adams' career. You know, there's a difference between those two things. And, I mean, this stuff doesn't matter now. But having a center that's this gifted offensively, long term, if the Blazers are ever in a playoff matchup against the San Antonio Spurs, OKC Thunder, Denver Nuggets, right? What do those three teams have? They have star big men or big men that are going to be stars, right? You got Jokic, you got Wembanyama, you got Chet Holmgren. Like, when you have a center that's gifted like Ayton, it would be a game changer if he could actually draw fouls on those guys and maybe limit their minutes a little bit. That changes a game in a series. That could change an entire series. If you can get Nikola Jokic in foul trouble in a game or two because he's struggling to guard Ayton and Ayton's drawing fouls on him. You know what I mean? So that's where I would like to... He just doesn't know. I don't know. I think part of it is he doesn't really know how to get to the line because there was a comment saying like, oh, John Nash said he's looking for fouls. He's complaining to the refs a lot. Yeah, you know, but I don't know. It's kind of nitpicky right now when he's playing so good, but it is something I would like to see more long term. But right now he's hitting his shots. We'll see how long it lasts. Like, I don't know how long he's going to keep shooting the mid-range shot this well because it's like almost automatic, man. It's more efficient than... It low-key might be more efficient than Aldridge's mid-range shot was.
No, I think it is.
I'm sure there's a stat that backs that up.
But I mean, to be fair to Aldridge, most of his were like with a defender in his face. And a lot of defenses now just give up that mid-range because traditionally it is inefficient. So I think a lot of teams still are letting the Blazers live with that as their option versus, Simons from three or someone else getting going.
Yeah, I agree with that. That makes sense.
Because, two things. One is you mentioned like Chet and Wemby.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say about them, though, is they have the ability, especially Wemby, he's such a game changer that, like, he can block those mid-range shots without even, like, playing him super tight. So if you're not physical with him, that might be a tough matchup in the, like, 2 or 3 years down the line where you're trying to score on Wemby and he's just not even letting you get those mid-range shots off very easily.
Yeah, it'd be fascinating to watch Ayton play against Wemby for a series. I mean, his most of his self-created shots are shots where he catches the ball in the mid-range and like jab steps and actually doesn't even take a dribble, or if he catches the ball in the post and backs guy down. But that normally ends up in some sort of finesse shot too. So seeing him go against a defender like that, you kind of got to go through them in order to get buckets around the rim. You got to throw your body into them, use your body to protect the ball. As a 7-footer, most 7-footers aren't used to having to do it at the level that they need to score on the interior against Wembanyama. So, long term, if that's ever a matchup, that'll be a fascinating storyline.
Yeah. And then Matt says, remember, gravity works both ways. If a center draws people in the paint, the wings are more open to shoot. But I don't think that's what's happening here. I think Ayton's been so successful because he's not drawing a lot of attention still. Like I said, teams are just letting him shoot mid-range. And if he's guarded one-on-one, he's got, I forgot who it was, but someone says he's got that nice little jab step that creates a little bit of space. And, he's tall, so he can get a shot off in the paint. But I don't think like teams are crashing down in the paint whenever he gets the ball. He's getting it. It's oftentimes on the roll where he's catching it without anyone within a few feet from him, and all he has to do is shoot the ball. So I don't think it's necessarily a case where Ayton's like collapsing the whole defense and it's going to open up shooting. I think it's more just teams are content with just letting him get his and not letting shooters beat him.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you'll see smart teams start to just crowd his space in the mid-range and make him put it on the floor and then send a second guy.
Yeah.
Like that's how you slow down Ayton on a night like tonight. The problem is Clint Capella is, I don't know, slower and was worried about the drive, but it's like Ayton's not somebody that drives and gets to the rim a ton anyway. So it'll be interesting to see how good teams maybe adjust to that. Yeah. I think he's finishing plays in the flow, and he's not reliant upon like face up, shoot a mid-range jumper, drive off the dribble. He can still get 20 points just off putbacks, just off running the floor, just off rolling hard, off dump-off passes, an occasional post-up, that sort of thing. So he's not reliant upon any sort of face-up game, any mid-range game, but it does make it easier for him to absolutely go off like he has in a couple recent games. But I was going back through a lot of his recent games just to get clips for that last video. I was surprised how many 20-point games he had while only making like 2 mid-range jumpers, or at least free throw line or deeper. A lot of it was closer to the rim, and I do think that's part of why he's been more efficient. Is he's taking more shots around the rim. He's being more aggressive occasionally on rolls, and occasionally he'll have a drive to the rim, and like his hook shots, he's doing a better job of like standing his ground and shooting them, from 6 feet instead of taking 2 steps a little bit away from the hoop and like fading away, and all of a sudden it's a 10-foot hook. And I've noticed he tends to make a lot more of his hook shots that are like where he's going up and down, and that's the case even if there's a little bit of contact compared to some of the hook shots where he was fading away earlier in the year on a hook shot. Like as a 7-footer, you should never fade away on a little sky hook, because you're 7 feet. Even if you're going up against a 7-footer, you shouldn't be fading away. If you're going up against one bud, maybe different story. But, I mean, that dude's a game changer, and there's a reason why that dude's so special. So, I think I don't think it's something he has to be reliant upon. So, but it will be interesting to see if teams start guarding him a little bit differently, given how well he's played.
Yeah, the other thing he's doing is it's like immeasurable, but at the beginning of the year, a lot of people would come in and say, well, he should be getting forced touches in the paint or in the post. And they tried to do that earlier in the year, and he wouldn't shield his defender off, and his defender would like spin around him or reach around him and tip the ball away, and it was hard to even get him the ball a lot. But now he's doing a much better job of when he's in the post, sealing the guy, keeping him behind him, not letting him get around, and he's getting the ball a lot easier. And that's made a huge difference just in terms of getting him the ball and getting him more shot opportunities, because like earlier in the season, like it did not look like this. He was not getting the ball. If he would be like kind of in a bad position because he would have had to like go get it after it got tipped or whatever. And I think that's made a huge difference.
Yeah, there's just little things to being a big man that, in terms of being available to receive a pass, and I think he's gotten a little better at that as well. I want to talk a little bit about Tamani. I mean, he has that huge offensive rebound late that seals the game. I thought he had some really good defensive moments as well. He got... DeJounte Murray had 40 points. I didn't even realize he was going off like that. And it wasn't anything where I felt like Kamara, when he was on and played bad defense, like he drew a moving screen against someone just by trying to fight under, and the dude's rolling, and Tamani keeps fighting through the screen, gets a call, took a charge in this game. I thought defensively he had some really good moments and continues to play well. Also has 3 assists, a couple to Ayton. He didn't really force any shots. He shoots 3 times in 30 minutes of play. which he's not somebody that needs to shoot to be effective. He's not somebody that needs to force to be effective. He missed his only 3 today. He's been shooting the 3-ball well. But the rebounding is nice to see because he's athletic and tall, man. He should be getting 6-7 rebounds a game, in my opinion, even at a small forward spot. So just the little things that he continues to do is impressive and fun to watch. And then if that 3-point shot keeps coming along, then at least he can keep defenses honest and be a floor spacer as well.
Yeah, for the record, DeJounte started going off when the Blazers were stuck at 17 for a while, and so he scored a lot of points in the first half.
Yeah,
and he hit that 3 late in the game. But Tamani, I think, has been playing really good defense. He's still trying to figure out like when to take charges and how to take them and get the call from the refs. But I think he's doing a great job of staying in front, harassing offensive players, and I think he's doing the things he needs to do right now. I almost want to see him just cut a little bit more, and I don't know, use his length a little bit more on the offensive end. But other than that, it's hard to find too many things to really complain about watching him.
Yep, and some of those Murray buckets were like, that's the best defense Tamani could have played on him, and he still made a shot. Right. At some point, it's always easy to look at the box score like, oh, this dude had 40 or whatever.
DeJounte in Portland, man, that's
yeah, like there was he had some insane shots on Tamani, or maybe not insane, like you kind of expect it from DeJounte Murray. He's really good, but just shots where he's like fading away, heavily contested, shot almost gets blocked, and he hits an 11-footer, or pulling up off a screen, and Tamani's there, but he's still getting the shot off. Like, the only way you could play better defense is if you somehow stop Murray from getting these shots off at all. Like, you blocked every single one of them, and that's just not going to happen against a guy like DeJounte Murray. So, I thought Kamara, even on some plays where DeJounte hit buckets, played very impressive defensively, and I think the Blazers could have gave him more help on some screens, especially in the first half, because there's basically just Tamani on an island with the guy guarding the screener just sagging in the paint, good old drop scheme, and it's really hard to navigate a screen by yourself, no help, and stay on a guy like that and stop him from shooting or getting a step on you. So Tamani continues to play really good defense. Been really happy with him. The offense has been fun. He didn't really do much in terms of shooting the ball, but continues to do the little things, and that's all you ask for. Just he's going to be a really good glue guy for years to come, and happy with his play.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to see. I mean, I know this is scheme because him and Chris were like auto switching picks. I do want to. I feel like I don't get a good sense for how he is navigating screens yet. Mm-hmm. So that's the one thing I kind of wish they'd let him do the rest of this season, is not switch as much and just try to see if he can learn how to get skinny through those screens and stay attached to someone like DeJounte. I mean, I understand why they're switching between those two, but I'd really think in order to be an elite point of attack defender like I think Tamani can, you got to learn how to navigate those screens better, and so I'd like to see him practice that like right now the rest of this season.
Yeah. We got to talk about since you brought him up, we got to talk about your guy, Chris Murray.
My guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
6 turnovers today for Chris Murray. How's that even possible? He handles the ball so little that 6 turnovers is actually impressive.
He had at least 2, maybe 3 illegal screens, I think.
Are
you watching him?
Yeah, it says he only had 1.
Oh, that was Scoot that had the other one.
Yeah, it says he only had 1. And this clip doesn't even show anything with Chris Murray either. He had that charge where he's just like okay. I want to talk about his dribble drive game, okay? And then I'll talk about the charge because it kind of goes together. Eric, he has so many drives where it's just like that just go absolutely nowhere, and I don't know, dude. He just, how do I explain this without sounding like a hater? He has a lot of drives where he'll just catch the ball on the wing and then just dribble across the free throw line, like going nowhere, not even looking towards the rim. And it's just like, what are you doing? Where are you going? And he's just driving, like dribbling slow and just dribbles across almost the entire court and then gets stuck and kicks the ball out. I don't know. He has a lot of drives where it just feels like if he's not able to like throw his body into a defender and then like bounce off of it for space on a layup, like he's stuck because he's not beating anybody off the dribble if somebody's in front of him. The only way he's beating somebody off the dribble is if he can just throw his body into him, or if he has a gap to begin with, right? Like off the catch, which I guess is fine if he's going to be a glue guy, whatever. But he has that charge where he gets stuck with his dribble. He gets stuck with his dribble and then just pivots through Clint Capella, like tries to throw his body through him. He caught the ball in the middle of the floor with a center on him and like had no chance of getting by him and didn't know what to do. And then a couple of the passes just like going downhill. He had a turnover at the start of the game where he came off a handoff with Ayton and had his left-handed layup and tried to lob it. And just terrible read. Like, I
mean, I like that he's passing, but yeah, that he had the layup there.
It's just like he predetermined. I don't know. He also had that pass at the end of the game where it was like he caught the ball on the move, and it's almost like he was going too fast. You know, the one where he like caught the ball going left and then skipped it to the corner right to the defender? It was almost like he was going too fast. I don't know. He had some turnovers today that were just rough, man. And for a guy that's solid glue guy, you don't want to see him have 6 turnovers.
Yeah. Sorry, just had to deal with something in chat. I like that he's trying to pass, but we talked about this several points this season. The players like Timani and Chris, they don't have the ball enough to have 2 or 3 turnovers a game, let alone 6. So you got to do a much better job of taking care of the ball. However, I will say when he got the one where he stood around the free throw line and then got the offensive foul, I was happy because I thought that gave the Hawks a chance to win this game. So I was like, okay, good job, Chris, tank commander, whatever. But so like I was fine with the turnovers tonight because I thought maybe it would lead to them the Hawks squeaking out this game. But obviously can't turn the ball over that much if you're Chris Murray and have a low usage rate.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like maybe this is a little bit premature, but I just feel like he, long term, even if he gets a little better, is going to be a guy that struggles to play in the playoffs. And the main reason why I feel that way is the game gets sped up in the playoffs. There's more effort on the defensive end. Refs let more physicality go, and more often than not, that's going to benefit the defense at the expense of offensive players that like rely upon physicality in order to get shots off on the interior. And then obviously if he's not shooting the 3-ball well, not spacing the floor, and teams can play off him, then it's a problem. It's just he's made some really impressive drives at times off the dribble, but it's stuff that I don't know if he'd have as much success against like elite defensive teams consistently. It feels like it's more so he'll play against a bad team who'll have some impressive drives. I don't know. But a lot of his drives are just slowing down using his body, and I don't know against the best defenses in the league in playoff series if that translates. Because we don't talk about this anymore. We used to talk about this all the time on the channel back when we were a playoff team. But the game in the playoffs is different than regular season. Unfortunately, we don't get to experience that anymore. But it's like a different brand of basketball. And some things translate directly to the playoffs, right? And most of the time, if you're a star in the regular season, you're still going to be a star in the playoffs because, you're just that talented. But there are certain things that don't translate easily to playoff basketball. And it can be from, an individual player thing all the way down to scheme, all the way down to what sort of offense you run. If you rely too heavily on isolation basketball and pick and roll, when you get into the playoffs, when defenses are allowed to be more physical, then you're going to have a hard time making that work because they'll jam you on picks. They'll fight their picks harder without being called for fouls that they would in the regular season. And ISO ball, you can be a little bit more handsy, a little more physical. It's a lot easier to stop an ISO score when you're allowed to do that defensively. And I think we saw that in the past, given some of Dame's playoff struggles, were more so due to we just ran him through pick and roll or ISO ball, and that's why he struggled a lot. But at the end of the day, probably too premature in terms of having this conversation about Chris Murray. It was just a thought I had today.
Yeah, I mean, as a rookie,
he needs to get quicker. He's so slow.
I don't know. Some of the best creators aren't quick, though.
Yeah, but he does not have that.
No, I'm just saying, it's not. Quickness isn't necessarily the determinant on that. I think he's a smart player, so I think you could eventually maybe get away with some things if you use your body right. But yeah, you got to be looking up too. You can't just have your head down like he has a lot. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Since he's a rookie, I'm willing to give him a little bit of time still. I haven't completely given up on him or anything. But yeah. I understand your concerns too.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if he's he has to make threes, because that makes those concerns lessened because he can just catch and shoot. The problem is right now he's more of an off the dribble scorer than a catch and shoot scorer, which is kind of insane. I never would have expected that. I would have said that about Chris Murray's rookie year, because he's supposed to be a shooter that could maybe do a couple things, maybe attack a closeout here and there because he's a shooter. But instead, it's, he has to drive through people. He did make a three in this game. Credit to him. 1 for 3, 33%. That's a good percentage for him. But yeah, I mean, he has to start shooting the 3-point ball better. And that three he got, he had all the time in the world to shoot the ball, Eric. And that goes back to when he has time and is wide open, he can knock down shots. But when he doesn't have as much time, if he gets rushed at all, he's off. And I feel like he's one of those guys that, in order to make threes, at least right now, he needs time to set his feet, right? He has a pretty wide base, and he has a set shot that doesn't have the highest release point, and so he needs space to get it off. He's one of those guys that can only hit, wide open threes.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, there's a lot of those guys in the league, but.
Yeah, I don't know if it's quite to this extent, though.
I was actually impressed with his defense tonight. I talked about not really seeing a lot of screen navigation from Tamani, but I was watching Chris, and I thought he did a really good job of navigating screens today. And I like his communication. They had him mic'd up for the game. And he's a very quiet guy, but I thought he did a good job of communicating on defense, which I like to hear. But I think defensively, I think he's been really solid and maybe a little underrated on that end. But yeah, all the concerns offensively are legit ones for the future moving forward.
I think he's an okay defender if he's not on somebody that's quick. I mean,
he did an okay job. A couple times he got switched on to DeJounte.
Yeah, I've just seen him get blown by off the dribble a little bit too much. Just by quicker guys, which I don't really expect him to stay in front of quicker guys, but he's one of those defenders that's solid, especially if he can play off ball. But I don't trust him on a guy like DeJounte.
Well, I mean, there's not many people you do.
Yeah, but I also don't trust him on a guy if he was on I don't trust him on a guy like Lonnie Walker even. But he was low key good this year, by the way. That's not that big of a diss. But like Malik Monk types, Lonnie Walker types, just guard scores like that. I don't know. I don't know if he can guard him. We haven't really gotten to see him guard him a ton. But there's been multiple times where I feel like he's just been beaten off the dribble due to speed.
Yeah, but he was guarding Bogdanovich tonight, and Bogdanovich had a terrible game. I think a lot of that was due to the defense that Chris played.
Yeah, I think Bogdanovich. I don't think Bogdanovich is as quick as Lonnie Walker or Malik Monk. Yeah. But like that's the thing. A bigger guards who aren't as quick, I think is one of the best archetypes for him to guard.
Yeah,
I just think as long as it's not somebody with a great first step or a good first step, he'll be just fine guarding him. That's just my one worry. The one type of player that I worry about him guarding is guys with a quick first step that have good speed at a guard spot.
But, I mean, he's like a small forward, power forward. Like, most of those players in the NBA can't guard quicker guards. So, I feel like that's kind of an unrealistic standard.
Tamani reaches that standard.
Yeah, but, I mean, Tamani is an outlier, I think. Like, I mean, there's not many rookies that play the way Tamani does, you know?
I'm not hating on his defense. I don't think his defense is bad. I'm not saying it's been bad. I'm just saying that's the one thing that if he could do that, then I'd say he's a good defender, right? I think this team needs forwards. With how much they switch especially, they need forwards that can defend quicker guards on the perimeter. That's what made Aminu and Harkless so good together. And that's what makes Kamar a really good rookie defender. So,
but that's not necessarily Chris's fault. That's like a bad fit maybe, but that's not. I don't know. Like that. I just think it's unrealistic to expect all of your forwards to be able to do that. I mean, realistically or ideally, I think you'd want that, but they didn't draft him to guard guards, you know. No. At the same time, I think he's solid defensively. He's solid. I'm watching back Bogdanovich's misses right now, looking for Chris stops. He does a good job getting through screens. I will give him that. I wish Jeremy did as good of a job as him getting through screens. Yeah.
Like he covers ground when he needs to.
Yeah.
He's just a little stiff when he tries to slide his feet. You know what I mean? Like that's just kind of my take on him. I don't know. Because he'll run through a screen and then he'll sprint and actually bother the shot, even if there's space. Like he closes gaps decently well. Man, Bogdanovich missed some open shots.
Hello? Yeah. Well, I mean, you're watching I thought you were...
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm just watching. I have nothing else to say. I have nothing else to say.
Yeah.
So if you have anything to say, go ahead.
I mean, we've covered it all. Let's move on.
Well, we can talk about someone else. Who you want to talk about?
Anfernee.
Okay, talk about Anfernee.
Well, I thought this was going to be a rough game for Anfernee. Turnover, first play of the game, and then missed his first 4 shots, I believe. 3 of them 3-pointers. And it's like, oh, great, here we go. But that was his only turnover of the game, and he shot well pretty much the rest of the game. I thought he was fantastic after that little stretch at the beginning. And I think only one of those, the 2-point shot he took was the only one he really forced. So I don't think it was like he was playing bad or whatever. But yeah, it just seemed like he was kind of in a rut, and then he got out of it. But I have a question. This goes back to Ayton too. Why is Ayton and Anfernee playing over 40 minutes?
I mean, why does Chauncey make the lineup decisions in general that he makes? I don't know.
I understand they both had great games and stuff, but like we're 15 games behind the 10th seed with 17 games now left. Like it's pretty much mathematically impossible for us to make the play-in. Like why are we trying to so hard to win games. Like it doesn't make sense to me.
No, I don't agree with it at all. But Chauncey's gonna Chauncey.
Yeah. And then I don't know what happened with Repair either, but like he was clear to play and he was on the active roster, and then people tried to say then he wasn't available or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like okay. So I had a tweet like Mania comes in, plays heavy minutes, and it's like he comes in before Scoot, and Repair doesn't play at all. But I was at the game. All I saw was a tweet from Blazers PR saying Repair is available. Yeah. And then media guys saying, well, he's nursing that ankle injury, so he might not play. I'm paraphrasing, but like, okay, why the hell they make him available then if he's basically not available? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It didn't really make sense. Like, if they didn't want to play him.
Did they only have 8 guys or 9 guys or something?
No, they had, like, Moses Brown didn't play at all. They had 9 guys play in this game.
Reith barely played.
Yeah, like, they had 10 guys healthy without Repair. At least 10 guys healthy without Repair. So they didn't need to suit him up. It was just confusing. Like, why make him available if he's actually not available?
Well, and then, yeah, like, so I noticed going into the fourth quarter, Ant hadn't subbed out yet. And then they finally sub him out. It was like 10 minutes or so left in the fourth quarter. And he sits out one possession and comes right back in.
Yeah, well, Scoot picked up his 5th foul, but it's like they didn't even sub Scoot back in to potentially foul out. You might as well just let Scoot play until he fouls out then.
Yeah.
So that made no sense.
Or play someone else. Like, I don't understand.
Like, if Repair is too hurt to play, I get it. But don't make him available then. So the thing is that people tagging me with these media member tweets talking about his ankle, like, it's go ahead.
The only thing I'd say is maybe something happened at the end of warm-ups or something, and then it was worse or swelled up.
They were saying that like 40 minutes. I saw a tweet like 40 minutes before tip, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? It's just strange, and it's like, okay, yes, I'm not Mr. Insider, but bro, what are we doing? Like, if we truly never planned on playing him, there was no point in making him available. Like, it just doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. Well, the question is, if he was healthy, would it still have played out the same way? Does he put Mania in over him?
And that's the problem. Like, when he's made so many questionable lineup decisions, people are going to question it.
Right.
So.
But yeah, I mean, obviously it was fun watching Anfernee and Ayton go off tonight, but what are we doing? Like, what is the point of playing them 40 minutes? I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, Ant plays 43 minutes at a 48-minute game. You know, if he plays 43 in a double OT game, okay. 43, like, we're running him into the ground.
This is the same thing we talked about with Sharp, yeah.
Reith was playing really good before Ayton came back, and now it's like Reith is playing 8 to 12 minutes a game because we're playing Ayton for 41 when we're 18 and 46 now, 19 and 46. It doesn't make sense to me at all. I don't get it, man. I don't get it, but whatever.
But yeah, Anfernee, I thought, had really good passing in this game. Thought his decision making was really good.
And he did this against DeJounte, who isn't the same defender as he used to be, but still, it's DeJounte.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought he was really solid tonight and made a lot of good decisions. Got to the line 10 plus times, which is nice. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before, but the Blazers haven't been like winning or been up with the ball where the other team has to foul very often. So it's nice to have a game where him and Ayton get a few free throws at the end because of fouls that have to be made. But yeah, it's amazing when you have good numbers when you don't even get the stat padding numbers at the end of games. Like Dame got a lot of that, where he'd get fouled like 3 times at the end of a game and get 6 extra points because of free throws. So yeah, it's Ant was fun to watch tonight, I think, after that rough start.
Yeah, he was great after the rough start. He's 10 for 23, 5 for 13 on 3, but that's 3 open threes he missed right at the start, so it's 5 for 10 after that, 10 for 20 after that. And gets to the line 11 times and makes all 11 free throws, has 8 assists, 1 turnover, 7 boards as well. He's doing it all. He's doing it all. I
thought his rebounding was really good, yeah.
Yeah, he had some Stark caliber plays in this one, man. The in and out to cross with the right-handed layup on the run where he got the and one, the kill dribble in the second half, or maybe that was end of the first half, that he got a layup off of just in the middle of the paint. He does certain things on his drives that gets him to the rim that I think, honestly, Scoot will learn. And I've seen Scoot do similar things in the G League. He just is still trying to figure out how to effectively do it in the NBA. I just see some advanced drives, and you remember how rough he was driving the basketball as a rookie or even as a second-year player?
Yeah.
That's why people got to be patient with Scoot. Because, Ant was not anywhere close to the slasher that he is now. Now, he's always been a pure shooter, but he shot 33% as a rookie. He didn't play much. Scoot's 31%, 31%, 34, 35% with goggles, whatever. I don't expect Scoot to become as good of a shooter as Ant, but some of these little dribble drive tricks that Ant does on the run, just the way he can, quick kill dribble and sidestep and get to the rim that way, and some of the angles he took in this game going to the rim were really good. I think that's part of the reason he got to the free throw line 11 times. I think Scoot will have a similar development in terms of that dribble drive game that Ant has had, because Ant's development in that regard has been phenomenal the past 3 years. And Scoot has all the physical talent and feel in the world in terms of getting downhill. And I say feel in terms of I've seen him do it at the G League level very effectively. I just think he needs NBA experience and seasoning to be able to do it at this level, at the highest level in the league, in the world. So sometimes I just watch Ant drives and it's man, I can't wait till Scoot starts doing that regularly.
Yeah. I will say I feel like Anfernee has pretty soft touch, whereas Scoot's a lot more stronger, I think, and it affects him. He throws the ball off the backboard a little too hard, a lot more. But if Scoot ever learns how to spin it and use angles properly off the glass and learns how to contort his body and stuff like that, I think it would be pretty amazing to see.
Yeah, see, some of these Ant layups too that I'm talking about aren't even necessarily layups that he had to have touch. He was just able to get to the backboard because of a good move. That's the hope with Scoot, because I agree, I don't think he quite has Ant's touch, but I mean, there's some times where Ant's touch I feel hurts him, where he's trying to put too much touch on the ball because he's fading away from the rim and trying to flick it towards the rim, and he'll miss short or make his layups tougher because he feels like he can finish at just insanely weird angles, or where his momentum is going away from the rim even. So
Scoot's first layup tonight, he should have just dunked it, and he probably gets to the foul line or gets an and one. But he tries to do a really tough lay-in. But you said he probably thought he had the angle. Yeah. But in the past, against lesser competition, you get those shots off easy. But NBA, it's a lot tougher.
Yeah. Comment in chat from Javier says, 1 for 8 is good feel? Okay, question for you, Javier. Can you have good feel and have a game where you struggle and don't play well at the same time? Is it possible to be a player with good feel and have an off game? Especially as a 19-year-old rookie. Most 19-year-old guards aren't capable of, even on a lower level, doing a pickup from the right to the left into a 2-step from the 3-point line and get to the backboard and finish. most 19-year-old guards, even at lower levels, aren't capable of utilizing kill dribbles in the way that Scoot Henderson was capable of using kill dribbles on drives, protecting the ball at the G League Ignite level last year. He's not doing it at the NBA level yet. But he has okay, he's 20 now. He was, 19 last year for the G League? 18, 19? He has a feel for driving the basketball, and he's capable of doing certain things. He just doesn't have the NBA level feel yet. That doesn't mean that he doesn't have a good feel for where he's at in his development as a 20-year-old, a fresh 20-year-old player. The point guard position takes a lot of experience to be able to run effectively in the NBA. You'll have your outliers, but it's the hardest position to learn in the NBA. He's learning it. But he certainly has the feel for being able to attack the rim. And I feel like anybody that says he doesn't because he has a 1-for-8 game is just overreacting to some of the growing pains that are going to come with him playing NBA basketball for the first season of his career.
Yeah, I would say there is a bit of a distinguish between... I completely agree with you that he has a good feel of getting into the paint, getting to the rim. I don't know if he has a good feel yet once he's there, and hopefully he does. Hopefully that's...
You know what it
that's
is?
Better.
He doesn't have a good feel for NBA caliber rim protectors.
Yeah, right.
Which is a little different. And I
hopefully
absolutely
that's
agree
all
with
it
that.
is. Yeah.
But see, you get... The more you experience and the more you learn how to beat NBA caliber rim protectors, the best rim protectors in the world, the more experience you get playing at that level, the better you'll get at dealing with it. So that's how I feel.
And Dame was terrible, and then one year he just all of a sudden was good at it. So yeah, definitely. Dame,
you got to work on the right things. Dame worked on certain layups and certain moves in situations where he knew he could get it off, and then he had that confidence in, especially that inside hand layup going left with the right hand.
And he got
knew
it
what
quick.
He could turn to. Yeah,
he knew whether he could beat the defender to the backboard or not, and he'd only shoot it when he could. And those are things you have to. But that's feel, and it's hard for me to know whether Scoot has that yet or not. I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just saying, I still think that's to be determined for Scoot.
My whole thing with Ant is just players can look so drastically different from being 19 or 20 to 23 to 24.
Yeah, of course.
Like that is quite a long time. That's 4 years. 4 years for a young player, they can develop a ton. And we've seen it with Ant. And that's where it just makes me more patient with Scoot.
Oh, yeah. I don't think anyone should be not patient, right? Obviously we have to be patient.
It's hard to be patient. It sucks being patient, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just... The frustrating thing is, you see a lot of rookies come in and I don't think the whole, young players, you have to wait to see how they are. I don't think that necessarily applies, but I also think it does apply to certain players. It's tough finding a balance between kind of being disappointed that he's not as good as people thought he'd be right away, but also that he is still young enough to definitely get to that point at some point in his career in the very near future.
Yep.
What did you think about Chauncey's decision to have him come off the bench due to a minutes restriction on a back-to-back? What is that?
Okay. So that was the other thing in my tweet. People were like, "Oh, he's on a minutes restriction." Okay, I didn't know going to the game. Whatever. At the same time, though, if the dude needs a minutes restriction because he's playing a back-to-back, maybe he should just only play one out of the 2 games on a back-to-back and play a normal allotment of minutes. Because Chauncey in his post-game press conference said, Scoot could never get a rhythm. Maybe that's because he's subbing in 9 minutes into the game and he's been used to starting? I don't know. The thing is, he's out for a month, so was he really used to anything? I don't know. But Could he have been bummed out by not starting in a game like this? Maybe a little bit, right? He probably wants to start, even though he'd say all the right things. He probably wants to start. And Chauncey said he can never find a rhythm. It's like, yeah, well, he plays for 6 minutes, gets subbed out, gets subbed back in, plays for 5 minutes, gets subbed out. I don't know. It's a different playing pattern than maybe he was used to. I don't know. I don't know how much the minutes allotment factored into him not finding a rhythm, but it's kind of ironic that, oh yeah, he just couldn't find a rhythm in this game and looked terrible, given how good he's looked when he started since he began starting before the All-Star break. So, and even in games before that, like, this is his worst game in, 2 months? I don't know. I just don't know what to think about it, Eric. In my opinion, if a dude needs his minutes managed, especially if you're in a rebuild, if you're playing on a back-to-back, you should just play one of the 2 games and you should just treat it like a normal game.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you put it in players' heads, like, yeah, you have a minutes restriction, it can almost lead them to feeling like they got to do more with the minutes they're given because they're not going to be given as many minutes, and that could be a psychological thing. So,
well, the other worrying thing is, so is the adductor is still an issue?
Well, that's my thing, is like, so why does he have to have his minutes managed if that isn't an issue?
Because they said last game he was off the minutes restriction and that he was back to normal or whatever.
Yeah, so like, that's the thing. When he didn't start, I'm sitting there like, okay, they said he's off the minutes restriction. Why isn't he starting? Mm-hmm. Then Justin Minaya gets subbed in ahead of him. Like, what the hell are we doing? Oh, he's a minutes restriction. Okay, I thought he was off. Why are we playing him if he needs a minutes restriction? Because that implies that the abductor still might be an issue. And I want to play it safe with anything regarding core injuries. Yeah. Just strange.
All right. Okay. This might be a bit of a reach. So I just want to have a discussion about it. I'm not saying this is the case or not.
Yeah, maybe phrase it like a question.
Okay, yeah. Remember last year when all of us wanted to see more Sharp?
Yeah.
And someone asked Chauncey about it in a post-game press conference, and he said he gets lost too much on defense. I'm paraphrasing or something about he wasn't picking up the coverages on defense, right? And so he said that that's why he wasn't getting more minutes than he was getting. Do you think there's any chance that they noticed some of the things that I was noticing last game and but didn't want to publicly say that and are using that like the injury thing as an excuse for that instead of publicly blasting his defense or anything like that? Because his defense was very, very bad in this game. He was horrible defensively, and I don't know. It was really bad. I don't know.
I don't buy that at all because they let a bunch of other players give less than 100% effort getting back in transition. So.
Yeah, but it's not as consistently bad as Scoot.
I mean, I don't think Scoot was that as glaringly bad last game. We discussed it last post game.
Yeah, well, this was something that Chauncey hadn't mentioned earlier in the season, so maybe it was just something that they were.
Chauncey, I don't think is afraid to challenge him. Like. If he gets asked, okay, why didn't he start? Like, oh, well, last game I think he really struggled getting back on defense, and he has to be better in that regard. So we're challenging him with this to do a better job in that regard.
But they've been so protective. Like, I don't know.
I mean, the thing is like we have to. It's a very valid question. I don't think you're reaching with this, but this conversation pisses me off.
I know.
And you know why? You know why it pisses me off? Is because we have to have these conversations because we have to guess at so many things regarding how they handle injuries and minutes and what is the purpose behind freaking everything.
Yeah. But like, I just all season I've been frustrated with the way they've coddled him, and maybe they're just trying to protect him publicly once again because dang well with everything that happened last summer, they do not want public criticism of him from the coaching staff or whatever. And they actually on the broadcast like asked Chauncey. They showed an interview with Chauncey, and they were trying to ask him questions that were positive about Scoot's playmaking and things like that, and didn't go into anything like not necessarily have to be negative, but like anything he needs to improve on or anything like that. I just feel like this season they're trying to like hide us from talking bad about Scoot. And I don't know. I don't know if that's the right play or not, but I feel like they're just kind of babying him a little bit, You're muted, I think.
No, I'm not muted.
Oh, you're not. I mean, you've been frustrated with the way they've coddled him, right?
Yeah, I mean, okay. The question you asked, I just legitimately have to think about it.
Right.
I'm just sitting here.
Once again, I'm not saying that that's the truth or anything. Like, I don't know if I even believe that. I just
see, like, if I have to think that hard about something, I tend to lean towards like, what's the most normal thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, what's the most logical thing for them to do? So basically, you asked that question. I'm like, okay, like logically. They should know they don't need to coddle him that hard, right? Like, right. And it's just he did have an injury. He did come back from an injury. It is the first night of a back-to-back. Like, but the whole point is like he's on miss restriction, so like it's gonna be weird if they don't start him again. So logically, what do they truly accomplish if they just bring him off the bench for a game?
Yeah.
And fake it as you know what I mean? Like logically, to me, that doesn't really make much sense. But this organization is fully capable of being very illogical, so I lean towards it's probably just they're trying to play cautious and like show the fit, they're trying to be smart about ramping him back up from an injury he just came back from on the first night of a back-to-back, so they're playing him on a miss restriction.
Hopefully that's it.
like if I had to guess, it's that. But at the end of the day, we're just guessing. Because benching him for a single game isn't really going to accomplish anything.
But it's also the same coach that said he was going to start the rest of the season.
Which that's the thing is if Chauncey wanted to start him the rest of the season and they come out and say that, logically they should have known that okay, this could come with some struggles from him or maybe something where we have to hold him accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's implied. So that's why I don't believe it's anything more than just them trying to be smart, ramping him back up from injury.
Yeah.
Because that makes more sense to me.
But if his core injury is flaring up to the point where they have to restrict him again, is it smart to even play him?
But that's the thing. Is it something where it's bothering him still? Or is it something where like, okay, he's fine. We're going to be smart with this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard thinking this organization's going to be smart about something.
At the end of the day, it's weird. And some people act like, oh yeah, this is perfectly normal. You always ramp people back up from injuries and first night of a back-to-back. Like, yeah, minutes restriction, it's a back-to-back, of course. And some people think it's just so logical, like none of it should ever even be questioned.
Mm-hmm.
But it is kind of weird, man, for all the reasons that we stated that I'm starting to get a headache and I don't even want to rethink. So I just kind of want to move on.
All right, yeah. That's fine. That's all we have to tell about it.
Yeah, shout out to Alex R for a $2 donation. We forgot this like a while ago. Shout out to Alex R. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you for the donation. Says hit the like button. Do it now. Yes, hit the freaking like button. It makes us happy. Okay? We're at 51 likes, 156 viewers. The like button makes us happy. So if you want to make us happy, hit that like button. If you don't want to make us happy, then that makes me sad.
Yeah, why would you not?
So, Thibault has 4 assists somehow today. I mean, Stephen Vaughn had a funny tweet just about how fun Matisse Thybulle drives are because you never know what's going to happen, and it's usually going to be bad, but at least it's interesting or something like that. But, I mean, today, Matisse had 4 assists, including a little, like, drop-off, like, kind of a behind-the-back to Ayton. Matisse is driving more lately. I don't know if that's a good thing. He made some plays tonight, so good for him. What's funny is all 4 of his assists were to Ayton.
Yeah.
He just tries to feed Ayton. He had, at the start of the game, the nice like pick and roll. The ball got swung to him, and he hit Ayton on the roll. That was a nice pass.
Because Anton had the angle, but Thibault did a good job of recognizing it right away. And I think they should utilize that a little more. Because when Ant has a lot of turnovers, it's usually because he gets the ball tipped out of the double team. So if he throws it to the side and it's like designed to get the ball right into Ayton as quick as possible, I think that's a good play. And Thibault's done a nice job of showing that. And then one of his assists was really pretty. I forget which one it was.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. It was his third one, the one where he kind of like dropped it behind him to Ayton. Yeah. I mean, he's doing a better job running into the catch and being able to like get past the defender rotating to him, because that defender is running out at him and he's running at that defender. Like, he just has such a momentum advantage, it's impossible for the defender to keep him in front. So like that pass, he did a good job running into the catch. I think that might be a little bit of a point of emphasis because we've seen like Scoot do it a lot this year. But I mean, some of it's just he moves the ball quick. Some of it is just like, you know, there was a play where we had Ant set a pin down for Ayton. Halfway through the fourth quarter, we just have Ant set a pin down for Ayton, and he comes off the pin down, and Matisse is the guy who's supposed to make the read and just makes a good bounce pass. Like, one of them was just a quick swing pass. So, you know, there was the one where he drove and dropped it off behind his back, which was more so like creation playmaking compared to just making in the flow pass. But having a guy like that can make a pass in the flow of the offense is good. Like, normally you don't expect that to be Matisse Thybulle, but he's had some moments in some games recently where I've been happy with his passing, and that's part of that is I don't have high standards for his passing at all. Part of it is he does, you know, a game like this, 4 assists. I mean, he had a couple nice touch passes.
Yeah, I think he's doing a pretty good job of playing within the flow of the offense. And now that he's not having to be the point guard, maybe some of that stuff he learned while having to be more responsible with the ball, he's applying to his game, which is nice. I thought he was pretty good tonight. I wish he didn't block that 3-point shot near the end. And I wish Chauncey didn't challenge that other shot, the 3-point shot.
I didn't think that should have been overturned because, yes, DeJounte Murray kicked out his leg a little bit, but, like, Matisse collided a little bit with his body. Mm-hmm. Matisse was heading into his landing spot. Anyway, go ahead.
By the way, just real quick, anyone who still thinks that Chauncey Billups is purposely trying to throw games when he has bad coaching nights or bad decisions, like, just watch this game and how he played Ayton and Ant 40-plus minutes and challenges a play late in this game and calls timeouts and stuff. Like, there's no way that guy's not trying to win games. Come on now.
People were saying that, like, 2 months ago even. It's like, no.
No, like, they're just bad.
His coaching record is terrible, and I bet you he doesn't like that. So, he's trying to win freaking basketball games. Man, you know what's sad though? It's just I'm looking at Tankathon. We'll look at it in a second. Why do we gotta start winning now, bro?
Every night we win, it was like, oh man, this would have been such a good night to lose. You know?
Well, people are like, oh, it cancels out because Charlotte won too. But then it's like, no, we could have gained a game on them though.
Yeah, well, we could have, and also Atlanta still has a chance of passing
Golden State,
State or whatever. But yeah.
Yep. So. You know, they need to win a lot of games, so it wasn't really much of a chance, but still, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop looking at Tankathon because I got
go
a
to it in a
couple
minute.
comments and then we'll go to it. Rip City Retro. Rich is in here. It's been
He wants credit.
it's been like a month.
What's up, Rich?
Maybe not a whole month, but it feels like a month. Rip City Retro says, "Howdy, I take complete credit for lighting a fire under Ayton's ass with Silent Ayton. You're welcome, LOL. Yeah, it's funny. Ayton starts playing well, and you disappear. Now it's Silent Rich.
Oh, yeah. What's up with that, Rich?
I'm up here. I have to praise him every game after all my hating on Ayton earlier in the season, and you're just gone." Oh, now I feel bad because I'm just joking. And he says health issues, but good to see everybody. Well, hope you're doing well, Rich. Hope you're doing well. Hope your health is doing well, too.
Hiding behind health issues, man.
Damn.
No, I talked to Rich earlier. I know he's going through some stuff, so I hope everything's good, Rich. But I think he... I don't know. If Ayton keeps this up through the rest of the year, Rich might have to have a follow-up album where he has a good Ayton song instead of a bad one.
Yeah. Yeah, facts. Shout out to the Energy Warning with the $2 donation set. Says, just saying hey and show my support. Go Blazers. Thank you, Parker. Appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, man.
And a shout out to Sude. We got Sude in here. My guy Sude, man.
What's up, Sude?
Shout out to my guy Sude with the $10 donation. $10 donation. Says, love y'all. Keep up the good work. Flexing emojis. Thank you, Sude. Appreciate you, bro. Always good to see you in the chat, man.
Taylor says, I knew Silent Ayton would age poorly, but they didn't listen to me.
You know what's funny? Taylor, you jumping off the bandwagon is what actually lit a fire under Ayton's ass.
Yeah.
Don't let
Taylor.
Rich take credit for what you did.
Man. Taylor's going to act like that didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, listen. Ayton didn't deserve to have a bandwagon in the first half of the year. You know, okay. You know what drives me crazy? One final thing before we get into Tankathon. Once again, thank you to everyone who donated. Like, a player for, like, the first half of the season can play, like, terribly, so he gets criticized. And then the second half of the season can play great. And you'll have people that say, see, he's proven everybody wrong that criticized him. And it's like, no. Everybody that criticized him was criticizing him for legitimate reasons because he wasn't playing good. Just because he starts playing good doesn't mean that the criticism of him when he was playing bad is now wrong. If anything, that proves that criticism right, that he was capable of playing much better. Like, if he starts stinking it up the rest of the season and he sucks the rest of the season, that doesn't make the praise that we gave Ayton tonight wrong. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I just, it always baffles me how if a player starts playing much better, it proves anybody that was criticizing him before wrong. Because he's literally playing much better than he was earlier in the season. He didn't deserve to have a bandwagon earlier in the season. He sucked earlier in the season. Like, he was not playing anything like this earlier in the season. And he got criticized not only for that, but some of his comments, which at the time were ridiculous comments. I talked about it in my video. So, you know, I kind of addressed that in my video. I had a part, Eric, you know, at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So do I owe Deandre Ayton an apology?
No, I don't. I know. I heard that part.
Hell no. I said, hell no. Like, what are we doing here, man?
Well, see, this is the thing with DeAndre, and I'll say this about a lot of players. When you are as talented as DeAndre Ayton, there's no way you should be playing as bad as you were playing at points of this season. And it's frustrating as heck. And so, like, to expect more or want more or a better performance from a guy like DeAndre Ayton, who is a number one pick, has all the talent and ability in the world and isn't applying himself enough, is not, I don't think that's like saying you're owe him apology or anything like that. So I agree with what you're saying there.
Yeah, I mean, he's still having easily his second least efficient season ever. You know, still setting a career high in terms of turnover percentage, despite it being his fourth highest assist percentage. His rebounding percentage is basically right in line with his career. Like, it's not like it's his last 15 games or so, right? Last 15 to 18 games. He turned a corner late January. Okay. I think with how good he's been playing lately, those seasonal numbers still being what they are shows how rough he was to begin the season. But also at the same time, I'll praise him for how well he's playing. We can't sit here and act like he's for sure turned a corner and this is what we can expect from now on. Because, guys, those of you who watch the channel, you know I'm cool with Suns Valley Podcast. I'm cool with Gabe. I have paid as much attention to the Suns as any other organization in the league. Maybe more attention to the Suns than any other organization in the league other than the Blazers. I've seen these Suns fans the last 3 years get to the point where they're like, I'm done with Ayton. I'm done with it. I can't stand him. Get him off my team. And then all of a sudden Ayton starts playing like dominant basketball. And then they're sitting there. They're loving it. They're like, Ayton, proving his haters wrong. And, all of a sudden they're on the Ayton bandwagon. And they'll make videos talking about how great Ayton is. And then once they like fully buy into how great Ayton's playing, then he goes back to playing like garbage.
Yeah.
It is literally just a roller coaster. Okay. And that's why he has not done this for long enough for me to fully buy into it. And I see a bunch of people fully buying into it because this is the first time he's played like this in a Blazer uniform, right? So maybe it's, we just needed time. He was adjusting to Portland and people were getting used to him and this and that. He just needed time to start playing this well, right? But at the same time, we're peaking, okay? Or maybe we're on the upswing. I've seen this roller coaster dip too many times to think it's going to peak and then stay at a high level. You know what I mean? Like, there's a legitimate chance that there's going to be another dip. And he's just a player that cannot stay consistent. So I will praise him for this play and hope that it continues with the acknowledgement of he's had stretches like this before and they've always been for, 15, 20, maybe if we're lucky, 25 games, and then he drops off. So we'll see if he stays consistent.
So in my mind, I compare Ayton's situation a lot to Aaron Gordon. Now, Ayton should be a better player than Aaron Gordon, don't get me wrong. But Aaron Gordon was bad his first 3 years in the NBA, right? And then has kind of a breakout season in his fourth year, has a pretty good year. And then the next 2 years is worse than he was his fourth year. So it's fifth and sixth year are worse. And I got an ad playing in my ear. Ow.
Not on my
I have no idea where this ad is coming from.
Welcome to my struggle.
What the heck?
Is it still playing?
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. I couldn't figure out which tab. Sorry, it was
tabs
so
do you
loud.
have open?
Just 4. But anyways, so he had not got so his fourth season he gets better, and then he looks worse the next 2 seasons, and he's traded in the middle of his second season, and people were talking about we should get him or whatever, and I was like, no, I don't. I hate players that don't get better and don't work on their game. It seems like, and it feels like a guy like Aaron Gordon, who has insane athletic ability, wasn't applying himself enough in Orlando, and then he gets traded to the perfect situation, and is a great fit with Jokic with his cutting and defense and stuff like that. But I feel like it's the same way with Ayton. He has a really good third season. Last year he was 2 years ago he was mad that in his fourth season that he didn't get the max contract extension the summer before, and so he's kind of pouty. And then last year they matched the contract and he plays it, but never really lives up to his contract, and then he gets traded here and starts off playing poorly. Like I think it's legit that he got criticized the way he did, and I do think that players like him need to perform better than they were, and that's absolutely fair game to criticize him the way he got criticized if he's not doing what he's doing lately, like all the time,
Yeah, well, I fully agree. And I mean, legitimately, on the season, he's still, if you just take his entire season as a whole, he still has not played up to a max contract. He's 15 and 11 on 32 minutes a game. That's a good player. That's not a max contract player. We saw Nurkic put up those stats on 57% from 2. Last season, Nurkic shot 57% from 2. And let me look it up. Last season, he averaged 13.3 points, 9.1 rebounds, but played 5 less minutes a game. Right? So pretty close. The season before, 21-22, Nurkic averaged 15 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 56% from 2. Ayton right now is averaging 15 points, 11 rebounds on 57% from 2. Okay? Like, that's no better than Nurk. Nurk actually screens a little better, passes a little better. Like, and people at the time were saying, Nurk isn't that good, this and that. Nobody in 2022 would say that Nurk's season was worthy of a max contract. So that's the thing with Ayton. The last, 10 to 15 games, you can make that argument. But the last 10 to 15 games is who he needs to be on average in order to be worth a max contract. Now, given that the Blazers are rebuilding, maybe it's fine if they overpay him, whatever, this, that. You make that argument. But just in terms of value on the court, translating to value in terms of his contract, the way he's played the last 10 to 15 games, he has to be that on average in order to be worth a max contract.
Yeah.
And that's just the truth. I'm sorry it's not super positive, but that's just the truth.
There's a chance this is who he is and moving forward.
I mean, if it is, then I'll be glad, Hopefully.
This Colonel Pancake says $5 donation. Ayton is reaching a more mature age and his physical prime. I'm hopeful he can get his head right. If he becomes a fan favorite here, he will be great.
Yeah. I think it's going to be tough without him doing anything extra. At some point, teams will start taking away that mid-range shot, making him put it on the floor. How's he going to have the same impact as a scorer? I don't know.
I think his defensive rebounding has been good, but overall, I still don't think his defense has been great.
People really want us to watch the Ayton interview. I was gonna say no because of time, but it's only 3 minutes, so we will watch it. What is the thumbnail, bro? Okay, we're watching it. We're listening to it. I'm just gonna play it on my phone so you can listen to it through the
okay.
mic.
All right, cool.
Because Todd Keith says you guys need to watch that Ayton postgame interview. He's cocky AF. Oh man. Is this gonna make me regret saying good things? Here we go.
So first off, just your thoughts on your performance tonight and that of the team.
My performance is irregular. I don't know, just playing well, approaching the game the way I wanted to.
All right. Okay. Sorry, I need to compose myself so I can actually listen to the seriousness that's about to come out of his mouth.
Approach it, and every night's a big night. Playing with these guys and getting to know them, and just being out there with them and battling. That's all I can say. That's what led to it, to be honest.
Do you feel like you're fully unlocked now as far as them being able to get the most out of you and the way that you kind of use in the offense and stuff?
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like honestly, coming into these games, I'm trying to do everything. not only do my requirements, my rule for this team, but do a lot more. And that's where I'm at. I'm more, dominant. People like to laugh at it, but it's the truth.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think people?
I don't know. I just be trying to bust that ass.
You're putting up the
That's
numbers.
about it.
It's hard, you can't really.
What is this interview?
He said, "Oh man, I like. You know what? I like this interview. Believe it or not, that shit's just funny, man. What?
He's making us laugh, I guess.
Oh man, why do you think people laugh at you calling yourself dominating? I don't know, cause I'm trying to bust that ass." Quote of the year, man. Quote of the. Oh my goodness, this dude is funny.
I guess
What's
it's
he
not
want
that
to
much
bust?
different than Rip City on the ass, right?
I know, facts. Oh my goodness. Now I see why people wanted us to listen to this. Oh man.
My rule for
I
this
just gotta
team,
listen.
do a lot more. And that's where I'm at. I'm more, dominant. People like to laugh at it, but it's the truth.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think people?
I don't know. I just be trying to bust that ass.
You're putting up the numbers right
That's
now.
about it.
It's hard, you can't really.
Yeah,
deny
I
it.
don't know. I listen and I hear it and I love it. It's I thank these haters for it. Because it's making me approach this game in the right way and carry the PDX on my back all the way. So I thank.
You're welcome. Okay.
I'm wearing the cape all the way.
Was that always how you looked at that type of stuff and that chatter, or is that something you've come to?
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm in the position I am now in my career. Me trying to prove myself every day. And I go through the extent of
Wait.
whether I look like the bad guy or not. I'm trying to be.
Wait, Eric.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's trying to prove something now?
He's trying to prove himself every day. Every day he's trying to prove
on
himself.
On January 23rd, he specifically said that he has nothing left to prove. So which is it?
Maybe his haters, aka us, made him realize that he has something to prove.
Maybe.
We're doing our part in this rebuild, guys. All of our negativity is making these guys better. You heard it straight out of Ayton's mouth.
I know. I just love, though, how he says he has nothing to prove, and now that he's playing well, it's like, see, I proved to all these people. Like,
Todd Keith says you guys need to be nice to him. No, we don't. He just said his haters basically made him feel like he has something to prove.
Shouldn't we be more hated?
Yeah, good job, DA. You still have a ton to prove, bro. Maybe start shooting some freaking threes. Can we hate on him not shooting threes while we start shooting threes and making them? Like, how far does this go?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to do that just to do that. But this... Aldridge wasn't this goofy, but, like, I don't know. People think he's, like, maturing or whatever, but, like, I don't really see him as maturing. I think he's just, like he's just not, I don't know.
I don't know. He's like, he can be a lighthearted guy,
it's
I guess.
Fun. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, like,
but,
it's
like,
not, I don't think it's anything, like, not mature or anything like that. He's a lighthearted guy. He's happy because he played great. Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna read.
But at the same time, it doesn't give me confidence that he's mentally stable enough to like continue this for seasons. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
But he's funny. He's funny.
He's
like
funny.
It.
I don't. Like, bro. if he's gonna say his haters make him better, and now all of a sudden he has something to prove when a month and a half ago he was literally saying he has nothing to prove, then I will run with it as kind of a meme. You know what I mean? As kind of something fun. But also, what in the world? Bro, like, why were you... Okay, I agree you have a lot to prove. Why a month and a half ago were you saying you had nothing to prove? Like, what changed? What changed, man? It doesn't make sense. Like,
it's just like
you know what he is? You know what he comes across as? He just says things just to say things.
Yeah.
Which is funny, you know what I mean? And you can't really read much into it.
Taylor Packer says he started trying to bust that ass. That's what's different. Well, but like, have some self-awareness when you gloss yourself dominating. Like, shouldn't you be trying to bust ass when you gloss yourself dominating? Like, when he first got...
like if his whole thing is like, I'm dominating, and then he goes out there and plays his ass off and tries to dominate, right? And then says like, I have everything left to prove. I was the first overall pick. I gotta live up to that, and I'm coming to a new spot. I'm trying to make my mark. Like,
I'm gonna show Phoenix that they were wrong to trade me or whatever.
If he consistently had that attitude on and off the court, I would love it.
Yeah. But that's why we had such a problem with what he said.
The problem is he doesn't consistently have that attitude. Like, that's why we have a problem when he says basically he has nothing left to prove. Like, have that attitude all the time and play up to that attitude, and I will support that 1,000%. I won't be a hater, I'll be a lover. Okay? Or whatever that's kind of a weird term to use. What's a less sus phrase for that? I'll be a DA fan. There you go.
No, I think we should love Rose lover.
Lover? Okay, we'll go all in with it. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, just have that attitude consistently. That's been the problem. Is his attitude wanes. It ebbs and flows between dominating and whatever the opposite of that is. Like, it's just not consistent. So hopefully he has that, keeps this attitude consistent, because this is the attitude he needs. So I have no problem with him saying any of this stuff, but you can't say the stuff and then not bring it. Or you can't say the stuff and then say things that are directly opposite of it, such as, I have nothing to prove. So.
Great. I'm trying to be a winner in this league. I'm trying to be known as that. I'm trying to prove myself every day. And I go through the extents of it. Whether I look like the bad guy or not, I'm trying to be great. I'm trying to be a winner in this league. I'm trying to be known as that guy. You around me, you're going to learn how to win.
Where do you feel like your relationship with Ant is developing now in the pick and roll?
Right now, it's pretty lit. I ain't gonna lie, I wish he was there. It's pretty lit right now. We watch film together and we talk a lot, and we do our little whispers and our little 1-2 punch talks and stuff. He's number one and I'm number two. So that's kind of fire right there. We wasn't even trying. But back to the topic. But yeah, just, in the pick and roll, just, feel him out. I've been playing against Ant for quite some time since we've been in the league, and I know his game a lot. But, also playing with D-Book back in Phoenix, I'm similar to his style of play, setting screens and knowing what he wants. Sometimes he want to be off the ball. Sometimes he want to be, on the ball, being a ball dominant. I'm just reading him, whether he wants me in the pocket or not. And everything's flowing, We have this little language going on with like our body language, like, eye contact and things like that, where we know how the defense, what the defense is giving us, and it's like music. It's just, it's just good chemistry going on. It's just making good music. He knows what I want, I know what he wants.
What'd you think of the Tumani getting that rebound there?
I just told him, I thanked him. I said, him and Tease, I told Tease, I said, thank you for blocking and making it in the game for us. And I told Tumani, thank you for saving the game, because that's playoff wins. I've lost games like that because of rebounds like that, people not blocking out in crunch time and things like that. I was very critical, and hats off to Tumani just locking in and being focused, man. Being focused the whole time. Chris Murray guarding the best players out there, doing what he's supposed to do, all them sacrifices. It led to me and Ant's performance on the other end, and just, got us in flow and to win the game.
And that is that. That is the DA interview.
He's dominating that interview.
Rip City says the excessive use of dominating is kind of annoying. Well, too bad we're gonna dominate you if you have a problem with us saying dominate ton. Respect it. Anyway, back to the topic. Dro says 1946. It's lit AF, bro. Oh man, you're funny, Dro. No, I meant Ayton saying it himself, not you guys. Oh, okay. Yeah. Nah, I have no problem with it anymore. Now it's fun. Okay? Now I have a completely different approach as a YouTube expert analyst towards Deandre Ayton. Okay? He's a fun guy. I like his personality. Dro says Tori will dominate your girl. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Damn. Did you do something to Dro?
I don't know. Dro, what did I do to you, bro? I've never talked to your girl. Does Dro have a girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never talked to her. So, at least that I know of. Who knows?
Maybe that's the problem.
maybe. Anyway, let's go Tankathon. I am memed out. Oh my goodness, that was funny.
But no, Dro has a very lovely girlfriend, and yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Anyway, time for Tankathon. Alrighty, so Portland's still 5th, and they're still 2.5 back of Charlotte, because Charlotte won today, and Portland won today, and Detroit's won 2 in a row. It's funny because, like, I don't know, if we tanked a little harder, all the people worried about us becoming Detroit, like, Detroit's trying to catch us all of a sudden. They're 4-6 in their last 10. So are we. We are Detroit now.
Tori, though, you can't trade Brogdon and Grant because we beat Detroit.
Well, Brogdon and Grant have been out, and we are 4-6 in our last 10, and so is Detroit after they traded their veterans. So
no.
That's a complicated math problem there.
Yeah, you lose every game and you become the worst team in the league if you trade any vets. So good thing we kept them.
Thank goodness they're sitting on our bench in street clothes. Portland 5th. Golden State lost. They're still a game behind LA. Chicago won. Chicago's only 2.5 back. So maybe Chicago can catch Golden State. Hopefully. That'd be lit. Golden State is also 3.5 back behind Dallas. Dallas is the 8th seed. And it's funny because the 8th seed in the West is tied with the 5th seed in the East. Kind of wild. Yeah, a bunch of teams tied here.
Yeah, top 10 in the West is going to be crazy.
Yeah, New York is the 4th seed in the East. They're half a game ahead of the 8th seed. It's funny because New York would have the 19th and 20th picks right now. Oh, you know what? You know why it was good that we won this game today, Eric?
Our second round pick?
Our second round pick from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right, let's just simulate this thing and then we'll end this stream. Because, yeah, it's past midnight. Oh, my goodness, you're going to...
John F. asked, what's Portland's record without Grant? Well, it's about the same percentages with him.
Yeah, we've won 2 in a row without him.
We just won our first game, though. That first win was the first one we won without him all year.
See? We're figuring out how to play without Grant. Which we could have figured out how to play without Grant if we traded him at the trade deadline, too. So.
I like the way the ball moved tonight, though, after maybe not the first quarter, but after the first quarter.
Yeah, the ball movement's better without him, honestly. It's kind of a shame. Portland gets Golden State at 13. Chicago, OKC, Atlanta. Oh my goodness.
Memphis moves down how many spots?
3. Which means there's one spot left in the top
like
4.
So we're going to be 8?
Yeah, so I'm already playing the sound bite. Because
8 and 30. Oh, Jesus.
If this happened, we would be saying no because, yeah, we're not moving up, bro. We're not moving up. 8 is Portland, 7 is Charlotte. What the hell, man? We complained about chalk, right? Oh, you know who moved into the top 4 again?
Freaking Toronto.
Freaking Toronto.
Who else did?
So did Utah and
Brooklyn?
Houston via Brooklyn. 6 is San Antonio and 5 is probably Detroit. Yep, there it is. So you got Washington, Utah, Houston via Brooklyn, and Toronto in the top 4. At 4 is... Of course it's Washington. Of course it's the one team that makes sense up there. So, Utah, Toronto, Houston. Oh my. At 3 is Toronto. At least they didn't get 1 again. At 2 is Utah, which means at 1 is the Houston Rockets via the Brooklyn Nets.
Wow.
Oh, God, it would be better if Houston got the number 1 pick. No.
Good job, Brooklyn.
Yeah, we can't rebuild because we don't have our picks, so we gotta keep McHale, and then end up giving away the number 1 pick anyway. You know how hilarious that'd be? Giving all the people that say, why would we ever trade McHale for Scoot? We can't rebuild. All the people last summer.
Yep.
Anyway, so at 8, I mean, hopefully, like... I mean, hopefully we draft somebody good. I don't know.
Hopefully one of Matas or Tajon or someone.
I mean, Tajon, I think, would be there at 8, but...
Cody Williams, maybe.
I think Reed Shepherd goes top 8 instead of Jacoby Walter here. You would probably, honestly... I think there's a... Maybe not, probably not, but I think there might be a little bit of consensus as to the top 7. And that is Sarr, Risache, Topic, Cody Williams, Ron Holland, Reed Shepherd, and Buzelis.
Yeah, I think there's still more information to come, though.
Yeah. I just, if I had to guess at a top 7, that would be the top 7. And, like... Maybe outliers, Stephon Castle. I think Salon is going 8 or lower. He hasn't played as well recently, and I don't know. His shooting percentages were a little higher earlier in the season. What's he shooting now? Yeah, under 35% from 3 now. There's no game log here, but he was up closer to 40 earlier in the season, so I don't think he's helping his case with this recent play.
I mean, he's had 2 bad games. The 9 games before that, he was shooting 53.3% from 3. So,
I mean, his 3-point percentage is down to below 35. Just based on that, I remember it being up around 40. I don't know. I don't think he's raising his stock, is what I'm saying. I think he's prime candidate to go between 8 and 12. If we fell that far, that'd be the one guy to hope for, I guess, Eric.
Yeah.
I think Rob Dillingham deserves to be in that top 7. But I could see teams balking at him. He just feels like the type of guy that falls to 10 or 11. Is like, every year there's a pick that's like a 10, 11, or 12 that ends up being really, really good. And I feel like that's going to be Rob Dillingham this year. But you know who he'd really draft at 8 if that was the top 7? Your guy.
Who's my guy?
Right there. I highlighted it for you.
Oh, no.
Your guy. The next TJ Leaf. Anyway. Brutal Tankathon sim. This is why we don't do Tankathon past midnight. This is why we don't stream past midnight. Anyway. Chomchi at 8. I don't think Chomchi enters the draft. I think he has a lot to gain by going to college.
But those guys like Salon and Chomchi, I think they'll probably have like a pro day or some sort of workout and get feedback then. If they start to generate a lot of buzz off that workout, I think it could change the equation.
Yeah, it just takes one front office loving Chomchi as much as Eric does to keep him in the draft, I think.
Yeah.
So, probably Toronto at 16.
Mike Schmidt.
Do you feel like he's a Schmitz type prospect?
No, I don't know.
He's been so.
I feel like
he's been out of the
Salon
game
is.
so long. I don't remember what his like type is. You know.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind Castle if he's legitimately 6'6". That's just so tough. Yeah, that's tough.
Did you see that dunk Andre Jackson, your boy, had last night?
Dude, he kissed the rim like Ant was supposed to. Oh my god. Yeah, that was insane.
Set it up like college football recruiting.
What the hell? Why did you start playing on my phone? Did you hear that?
What was I even talking about? College football recruiting. What do you do?
No, one of the why did dude, it's past midnight. I don't know what's happening anymore. One of the Hoops Crush podcast on Spotify just started auto-playing.
Nice.
I don't know why. Very weird.
Yeah.
Very weird. But how long ago was this episode?
What did you?
Where does the Blazers' young core rank against the rest of the league? How long ago was that Hoops Crush?
That was like our first episode or something.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think it's a recent one. Crazy. Okay, well. Yeah, don't autoplay that again. I should just start playing your audio and mute you. And then like take you off the screen.
All right, I'll go to bed.
And just see how long it takes chat to catch on. That'd be kind of funny.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of funny. Anyway. Anything else for this stream?
No, I just appreciate everyone who stuck around and was here tonight. It was a fun show. And get to do it all again tomorrow night with two Blazers Uprise Live in the afternoon and post-game show after the game tomorrow night.
Oh my goodness, man. Honestly, I'm not going to watch the majority of tomorrow's game. I'm going to be at rec.
Yeah, I might have the same for
When is your game?
7:30. It's a playoff game, so
Okay, we're going to fake it till we make it.
yeah. Well, I'll be able to watch the first quarter, and then I'll
be able to watch the fourth quarter. So
and then I'll try to catch up. I'll watch it while I'm driving home.
yeah, I don't know if I'd advise that. I dropped an Ayton video, like I said, right here on the main channel. You can go check it out. I'll plug the link in the chat as well as the top of the description.
The post-game show tomorrow night should just be chat telling us what happened in the game.
That'd be kind of fun. That'd be kind of fun.
Like you guys run the show.
Or maybe we, just do live call-ins for once. Like we used to.
We have to act like chat. We'll just box score and watch. Whoever has a bad game, we'll just be like, Anfernee sucks, Banton's better.
We shouldn't have told chat that we're not going to be able to watch parts of the game tomorrow. We should have just been like, let's try. Maybe we'll have to do that with a game this year, Eric. Just one random game. We don't watch it. And then we try our best to make chat think we did. And see if they can catch on. This is what we've resorted to, considering we're 19-46, 5th worst record in the league. Just trying to find ways to have fun. And you know what? I'm inspired by Deandre Ayton's interview. Now I just want to have fun, Eric. That's the Ayton effect. So.
Yeah. We just got to make it lit.
Make it lit. Anyway, I think the Ayton video was pretty lit. So go check it out. Link in the chat and also putting it in the top of the description. Ayton video. Cool. I've started putting highlights on videos, chat. Where's Gray? Gray really wanted me to, and I've started editing them in a way that I feel okay with putting highlights on. But we're like 100 subs away from 10K, so if you know a Blazer fan that would subscribe to the channel, hit them up. Share this channel with them. But, yeah, we've been slowly grinding to gain subs, so all the videos are, you know, I'm inspired just to drop video after video to try and get to 10K subs. Because we gotta get to 10K before Suns Valley Podcast. They're lucky. They got Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and a playoff run and Bol Bol. They're almost at 9K, so we gotta reach 10K before them. Lil Brother is about to become Big Brother, but it's fine if we get 10K before them. And it's fine because we don't have KD. We got dominating, though. Anyway. Anything else, Eric?
No. Have a good night, everyone. Hope to see you tomorrow.
Yep. We will catch you guys tomorrow. Blazers Uprise Live. Make sure you tune in on our second channel. And then the post-game show. Should be a fun one. Anyway. Blazers win again. Dominates again. So does Ant. Ant's been playing really well lately. Love to see it. And the Blazers... looks like they're gonna get at least 20 wins on the season. Right now, it looks like they're not even gonna lose 60 games. They might end up with like 24, 25 wins, Eric. So shout out to them. And with that being said, we're out of here. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you to everyone who donated. Thank you to everyone who liked the stream. Like the stream on your way out. And until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers!